After 33 years of service in the Ministry of Health as a nursing officer, Mr. Godfrey Wanyonyi is finally calling it an end to a long career, having served this country diligently, as he retires officially tomorrow. Mr. Wanyonyi, thank you very much for joining Ration TV. We are here basically just for you to give us a highlight of your career and maybe tell us how you're preparing for your retirement.
Basically, as I retire, I want to be a farmer, an entrepreneur, and join the community as an ordinary citizen. That's all.
Thank you. So we'll have an interesting journey today. Mr. Wanyonyi will take us around his home. Just basically give us a highlight of his retirement plans, show us around his farm, show around his business, and basically from a retirement perspective, give us a highlight of how he's planning to live his life after retirement. So join us at Mr. Wanyonyi's place. Thank you.
Eventually, subsequently, I will phase out this one. For high yielding. And why I had an interest in this dairy farming, I went for a workshop in Bungoma. It was facilitated by the Retirement Benefits Authority, and whatever I learned there, one of the facilitators, she showed us what she produces on her farm, and I was really encouraged. And instead of having a very large farm and it's not producing, just concentrate in one area that can enable you maximum to produce something that can sustain you. And as you can see, my animals, they are very eager. They are eating the silage so well.
So you say the pre-retirement training facilitated by RBA.
RBA,
yes.
Yeah. It really motivated me to venture in this business, this kind of business.
So in terms of I know that must have been a pre-retirement training.
Yes.
In terms of planning for retirement. Yes. I'm sure you have colleagues or friends that are almost your age that are about to retire.
Yes.
Maybe any advice you give them in terms of preparing for retirement?
Yeah. What I would advise maybe those who are almost retiring or who have retired, to engage in the same activity. Apart from maybe dairy, you can also grow avocado, parachichi. I can also see parachichi is a good project. So that one can also make you feel comfortable. And why I was also motivated to go for this kind of activity, it occupies you. You get occupied. Every morning you wake up, you want to see how your animals are. And from there you can also now engage in other activities, which I would like to do and show you where I've also intended to put up one. So ideally this will be one of the areas where we should have another area for feeding. And this that's for resting. It's going for resting.
So the animals feed from there,
Yes.
but when it's time to rest, they change the chamber.
I want to be, when I'm here privately, I can be even reading my Bible here as I watch my animals feeding. I can also go through look at the records, how the animals are producing, which one is producing how much, and how I can maybe also improve on it. Yeah. So this will be my office. And this other chamber here, engine is a diesel engine, which can produce generally or basically 5 bags
In a day.
in a day. So once it produces 5, you make it rest. Otherwise, if it goes beyond there, it will heat up and then it may develop very much. And this is where I'm keeping my dry matter.
Like basically storage.
For storage purposes, yes. I put out this store. You can see there are some good amount of bags. Even the silage that the remains, we don't just throw them away. We want to recycle them. Once they are dry, we shall recycle them for the purpose of feeding the animals.
You mentioned something about records for animals. How do you keep your records?
Currently, I've not started that record, but I intend to have every animal to have its own record. Maybe the time it calves, you look at its health. Is it meeting the standards you expected or not in terms of production? If it doesn't produce to your expectations, then you better look for other options. So you face it out and look for another animal. Or for the purpose of maybe a potential farmer who wants maybe to get, you have made a stock which is more, you want to reduce the stock, you need to have a record so that whoever you are selling to, you tell him this is the record. It's either Fresian or Asha. That purpose. Or it is we call them what? There is a term they normally use in the veterinary department. It's either the water has gone. We have to remember maybe after some time. Yes.
So the animals you're keeping, are they
the ones I have are crossbreeds.
Crossbreeds,
Yeah, they're crossbreeds.
Fantastic. Okay. So at full capacity, you will have 4 dairy animals.
Yes.
Then you have enough space for them to rest.
Yes.
You have a setup for your office, and you have basically a production machine. And then
Storage. Yes. Yeah. And in future, I also intend what I learned in that workshop in Bungoma by the Retirement Benefits Authority. I want also to utilize the urine that comes out of this animal.
Yes.
I want to put up a septic tank where you can train that urine. You know that the urine is urea, so you can use it to press like the horticulture, boga, or any other horticulture you have on the farm.
And then maybe in terms of market for milk, because basically these are zero grazing units is to produce milk.
Yes.
How do you maybe like market your product?
We have the Brookside company comes around, their lorries come and they have their delivery points at Nakalo. We have also our KCC cooling plant at Naitir. Those are the areas we are looking are quite minimal because they stopped employing those veterinary staffs some 30 years ago. Nowadays we normally rely on private practitioners, private hospitals. Those are the ones who come and take care of the health of animals. And they also assist us in, especially when maybe it wants to get for insemination subject. Apart from that, our other supplements, apart from the dry matter I use here, I've got an acre hay. They are, the animals also need feed. So we normally get green matter from the hay and the napier grass. But it's a challenge during the dry season. You can't get. During the dry season, the animals they tend to consume more. But so we want them to use the dry matter. And by the way, the dry matter makes the animal small. Because when it feeds on dry matter, it takes drink more water. And there will be more production for that.
Yeah. Maybe you can give us just a highlight of how you make the silage. Okay.
Okay. The silage, like the current one I have, this one we made it on 10th of December. Usually you prepare just a flat ground. Then you chop those fodders, the green and the maize fodders. After chopping, you pile them together. And what your interest is that you make sure when you are boiling them, you give them enough pressure to escape air. I mean, any air should not be there. So the moment the air enters, it will start rotting. So the essence here, why we ferment, is that you make those fodders, whether it's maize fodder or napier grass fodder or polythene paper. Apart from that, after the fodder has been chopped and the air has been removed, you come in with a polythene paper that's airtight. Yes. You make sure the air does not enter. But in the process, as I am boiling those fodders, you supplement it with the molasses, with molasses, or occasionally you can even use urea, because the urea helps it to ferment faster. So in the process, after a period of let's say 3 weeks, like right now, the silage is ready for you for the animal to feed on. But currently we are using that tube silage. You can see the silage. That's what the animals are feeding.
So this setup here should feed the animals like for how long?
It's 1.5 tons, and currently I only have 3 animals. I believe it can take me up to 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. Because as I said, you only give it maybe 2 kilograms in the morning, 2 kilograms in the evening.
And then you supplement with something else.
Supplement with something else.
Thank you. I think that is a great run through around the dairy farm.
Yeah.
Do you maybe have intentions of having maybe other farmers to come and learn from you, or maybe learn your practice, how you are doing things?
Yeah, that's what the potentials I have, because like one of my fellow retirees from the defense forces, he came here and he has put up a modern dairy unit, civil grazing unit. There are more who will come with time. Will come to see how we are put it up, especially in construction, and what is coming out of the civil grazing unit. Apart from that, the crushing machine, it also crushes chicken feeds. Crushes chicken feeds. So apart from what we give the animals, we also crush for chicken. And as Mama also retires, and that is her area of interest, we feel it will add some value. And we shall keep ourselves busy. Kila mtu ako na shughuli zake. That's how we intend to live during our retirement. Everybody to have his or her own activity. By the end of the day, we have something on the table. And I was ready 2 years ago. Even my colleagues in in my place of work, I used to tell them, when will time come? I feel I'm happy, I'm not worried. Not worried, whatever has happened. So apart from this, I've also set up a small business, a micro industry in our local urban center. Maybe I'll go and show you.
Okay. Thank you. So from here, we are going to, Mr. Wanyonyi is going to run us through another business that is part of his retirement plans. We run through the dairy farm here. Interesting journey, great lessons, a few pointers here and there. And as he has said in his own words, he is retirement ready. Let's proceed. So thank you very much. We are at Makunga filling station with Mr. Godfrey Wanyonyi. He's the practitioner and of Makunga filling station. Having served in the Ministry of Health for the last 33 years, he has also had various farming and business interests. So he's taking us around, maybe give us a highlight of his business, what he's doing presently for as he prepares to retire officially tomorrow.
Okay, my business journey started in 1996 after staying in Turkana for a period of 7 years. And you know, life in Turkana was hand to mouth. Whatever you could get there, ni kukula na kurudi na kulala. So when I transferred back to Western, I really developed interest in business. Initially, that time I was working in Webuye. The Webuye District Hospital, which us who opened that hospital during the Nyayo time, the Nyayo era. And I used to operate from home, to and fro. I'd say now, apart from the civil service, what kind of side hustle can I do? I decided to venture into business. Initially, I started a medical clinic at Mbakalo, one of the shops in Mbakalo. But because of the conflict of interest, because I was still serving the government, I decided to do something away from the medical field. So I started a hardware. When you look at this end of Makunga, I'm the pioneer businessman who started the hardware on this market. Yeah, so the hardware went on well. I had to make some good money. I bought my own plot where we are operating now. It was the benefits from that hardware. Yes. We did so well in the business of hardware, but because of lack of supervision, when you are running a shop or a business shop, it needs your close supervision. Yeah, so supervision was a gap, so I decided to close that business. Apart from that, I used to run posho mill. I had posho mill business. I had about 2 to 3 posho mills. There was one in Nabiswa market and another one on this Mapunga market. But along the way, because of the demands of school fees and other things, I was unable to sustain that kind of business. So, but God was with me. Whatever little profit I was making, I was buying land, buying plots. Eventually, that was the year 2017, when the government of Bungoma and the national government decided that they are going to tarmac this Ndibisi, Misihu, Ndibisi, Naitiri, Prekidia Road. I started to venture in the business of fuel, petroleum products, and that's how this filling station was born. So the petrol station was born. That's around 2018 January. That's when I installed this business. Of course, the products move very fast, but the profit margin is quite minimal. But what I'm happy with is that it keeps me busy. In fact, you can see for yourself, currently as we are here, there are so many activities, the traffic in, out, and it has enabled me now, most of the time, when apart from what I'm doing at my home estate, at around 9, I come here, I sit with the friends, the other motorists when they come in for fueling, and we share a lot. So apart from the fuel products, I have also lubricants. I sell lubricants here, which also accompany this business of the petroleum products. And of course, I also sell gas. With the kind of the modern life, we are encouraging people not to use kerosene, firewood and firewood. So these are the products I also operate an M-Pesa business. Just whatever maybe the produce we get from here, we normally put on our maybe M-Pesa banking system. The future plans I have is that, apart from maybe what I'm doing currently, now that tomorrow I'm coming out of civil service completely, I intend to have a clinic and a dispensing area in this area. So now that's the area of my interest. Yeah. So all these are the things I'm going to do, and I feel I'm ready for retirement.
Maybe just one final question from us. I had mentioned to you before that mostly what happens in the retirement industries, once you retire, your employer will terminate your medical cover if you had any. So, and maybe what plans do you have in terms of post-retirement medical, and maybe are you aware of a product called post-retirement medical cover?
I'm not aware of the post-retirement medical cover. But what I know is that in our Ministry of Health, we have the NHIF. Yes. The NHIF, of course, whatever the premiums we are contributing now is a bit higher, but once you retire, it comes back to 500 per month. But if there is any other cover post-retirement, I really appreciate, because in this old age, the post-retirement is when we have a lot of problems. The chronic illnesses sets in, as diabetes, hypertension comes in. I would really appreciate if I can get that cover for me and my spouse, because that's how we can also maybe take care of ourselves in the old age. Yeah.
Maybe your parting shot. Maybe there's someone that will watch this interview we have had with you. Maybe your final advice to anyone out there trying to venture maybe into business or preparing for their retirement.
My parting shot is that it will be advisable for one, if you are preparing to retire, to put your whatever little you have together and run some. Be an entrepreneur. It will make you have your daily bread. Because when you retire, the money you used to get from the government is cut off. So for you to sustain yourself, you need to have something that enable you to handle money on a daily basis.
Retirement.
Yes.
Yes, it's all about being retirement ready. I think from a retirement pension industry perspective, we encourage retirees, pensioners, and people preparing for retirement, and even young people to prepare, because whether you are 20 years or 50 years, retirement is always just a few years ahead. So this has been an amazing journey covering your activities, Mr. Godfrey Wanyonyi. We are very delighted to have had a session with you, having taken us through from your dairy farm at home to this business you are running here. We wish you all the best. We are currently just gathering data about retirees. Maybe after 3 or 5 years, we should be able to come back here just to check on you, see how you are progressing, and also for you to be able to benchmark and maybe give advice to other people, because trust me, there are people that will be retiring in a few years ahead from today, and they will need people like you who have gone ahead of them to basically show them the way.